I'm excited to be able to welcome on one of the top players in 2022 and Noah Shelby. What's going on, my guy?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Pretty good, man. Well, you're part of this 2022 class. Last time we talked, coaches couldn't talk to you. Now they can. I know you've been busy the past couple of months. What's it been like just getting to start talking to coaches?
It's been doing well. I'm happy that I can talk to coaches now. I think now I can really start building relationships with these coaches. Um, that's about it. Getting to know all these coaching staffs.
And I mean, you have so many offers we could possibly talk about, but kind of give us an idea. Who would you say are some of the schools recruiting the hardest at this point?
Right now, for sure, I would say Baylor, Auburn, Memphis, Kansas,
Mhm.
Arizona State, and Mississippi State. Probably the leading ones right now.
Absolutely. So, I mean, let's kind of go down some of those. One of them, Auburn, is one of the biggest ones you probably pulled in recently. What Coach Pearl's been able to do out there has been incredible, especially at your position, the guard position, with a whole lot of top guys. How attracting is it to see the way he's been taking guards and putting them in the NBA the past 2 years?
Yeah, it's really eye opening for me because they just picked up Trey Cooper for this rising senior class, and also they had Bryce Brown a couple years ago, and he lets his guards play. That's something they've been telling me. They let their guards play. They let their guards shoot.
And New York is a little bit further away from Texas. Is staying somewhere close to home have any kind of impact on you?
For me, I mean, I don't really put too much stock into where the school is. For me, I just want to go where the best fit for me is personally.
Absolutely. And I mean, what's Coach Pearl like? We know he's a super energetic coach. He's a super just passionate kind of coach. What's he like talking to him?
I mean, it's pretty cool. I've been talking the most to Coach Flanagan from Auburn,
Mm-hmm.
one of the assistants. I talk to him almost every day about the school and how they play.
Without a doubt. And the other big one recently been brought in is ASU. And me being in Arizona, I know all the hype right now because of what Coach Hurley's brought in the 2020 recruiting class. When you see a guy like Jay Gup go out here, Marcus Bagley, a lot of top transfers across the country come in. What's kind of like seeing the buzz by ASU right now?
It's cool because they're known as like guard you. That's what they say. They're known as guard you. They let their guards play. They've had a history of really good guards. James Harden and then Jacob going there next year. Remy Martin. So they have a lot of good guards there. So their track record is proven as far as the guards go.
So far, the two schools we talked about, as we both said, have got guards to the pros, or at least been very successful college guards. When you look at your list of priorities on a school, is having a school that can go get guys to the NBA, especially at your position, pretty high up on that list?
I mean, I would say yeah because that's everybody's dream is to go to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I did want to go where if there's a school that can get me in a good position to go to the NBA. I mean, that's always a good thing. But it's definitely not the number one priority for me. I think the number one priority for me is just finding a good fit.
Couldn't agree more, man. And I mean, you also mentioned a lot of the schools that have shown a lot of interest in you. I mean, just what would you say is like some of the stuff you really are looking for in a college? Though, give us like your top 3 or 5 things that you want to see in a college.
For me, probably just a family feel in the locker room, probably number one. Knowing I can trust all the coaches, all the guys in the team. Number two, probably just like I said before, just good fit systematically, being able to play in a good system where I can excel. And the third thing, probably a good balance of athletics and education. Education is pretty important to me. So yeah, that's probably the three main things.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Kansas, their school, once again, an elite guard school. I mean, they've been putting in guys like we know whatever Devon Dotson's going to get drafted at, he's going to be a high pick. We see Frank Mason, Devontae Graham, Mario Chalmers. I mean, just what KU's brought to the table at guard positions. What do you like about KU as well as also being a prestigious blue blood school?
It's a blessing really because I've been going to Kansas games and Kansas events since I was probably in middle school. Since I was in middle school, so it's cool hearing from them as a recruit. And their track record is proven over and over and over again with all the guards they've had. They're one of the best programs in the nation, so it's good to hear from them.
And just kind of go through your thoughts. I mean, obviously, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're your locked in favor or anything, but I think when you get a blue blood, you also had a couple other ones as well. But having a prestigious school like a KU, a Duke, or Kentucky, North Carolina call you. I mean, I know that kind of brings some different kinds of emotions, some kind of excitement. What was it like just hearing from Coach Self or hearing from any of those big programs?
It's truly a blessing, especially like a Duke. I was really unexpected. I didn't expect that at all, coming into this. Hearing from all those big-time programs like Penny, all these big-time coaches, it's really a blessing. It just makes me want to work harder.
Couldn't agree more, man. I believe you also mentioned Mississippi State as a school that has been recruiting you pretty hard. They're a great school as well. What do you like about them?
I like how they also let their guards play, and I have a good relationship with Coach Z over there at Mississippi State. I've known him for a couple of years now. I like what they do with their guards. It's SEC. Really nothing bad about it. Mississippi State, I like everything about them.
And you mentioned Penny Hardaway. A couple other schools like Georgetown has also offered you. A few other schools have player coaches, guys that's played in the NBA before. What's that like? What would it be like to possibly just play under a guy that has done what you eventually want to do?
Yeah, playing for a guy like Coach Ewing or Coach Hardaway would be really a blessing for me because those guys, they have the NBA experience, especially for Penny because he also played the guard position. So I think that makes a school like Memphis really intriguing for players coming up is because they have Penny there, that can guide them get to what they want to be.
Baylor's another school that has offered you. They also have been bringing a lot of attention in the past 2 days, adding guys like Langston Love, obviously a Texas guy, and also Jeremy, another big-time player. What's kind of the buzz out there? What do you like about them bringing these two top players in the past 2 days?
It just shows that, Baylor, they've always been a good program, but now they're really starting to get these high-level recruits. They just develop, but now they're really getting these high-level recruits to go to Baylor. And I've always liked Baylor. I like what they do with their guards and how they play, 3 guards in. They were top 5 team all year last year. Really good coaching staff, really good men over there too.
And another one is Texas A&M. They're a big-time program. Coach Buzz is a really well-respected coach in the coaching world and just college basketball in general. What's it like with him and just the whole entire coaching staff?
I like A&M too. I like Coach Wolf and Coach Buzz over there. I went over there for a football game last year, and also we played at a team camp over there. So I have a pretty good idea of how they do things over there as well.
That's awesome. And so we talk about a lot of schools that have offered you. Who do you say are some of the schools showing the most interest in you right now but have yet to extend the offer?
Definitely Memphis, Stanford. Memphis, Stanford, and Kansas are the top 3 for sure. Yeah, definitely those 3.
Would you see those offers coming in sometime soon?
I think hopefully those schools will pull the trigger in the next few months, especially going to the school season. If we have a school season, hopefully we do, but I think that's something that will happen in the near future.
And let's talk about Stanford a little bit. They're another program that has had a lot of buzz, especially they had landed Zaire Williams, an elite top 5 player, then landed Isa Silva a couple of days later. What do you like about them and just what Stanford's bringing to the table right now?
I like Stanford. I went there over Christmas break last year to watch them play Kansas. I liked everything about this school. I have a good relationship with Coach Cohen that goes back 5 or 6 years when I was in middle school and he was at Vanderbilt. So I know him pretty well. And they're one of the best academic schools in the country as well, and they're also recruiting at a high level recently too.
And you're in a state of Texas that is loaded with basketball talent, but even on your past team, St. Mark's, guys like Harrison Ingram, you always made a big move transfer, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but there's just so much talent in guys I know you have close relationships with. Has there been anyone you've talked to at this point that you've considered possibly wanting to team up with in college?
Like 2 guys that I would like to team up in college definitely would be Lee Dort and Ryland. Those are 2 of my closest friends. I would love to team up with them. We've talked about it a pretty good amount, but those are definitely 2 guys I would like to team up with.
That's awesome. And you also, as I said, you're in Texas, which is one of the best, if not the best state in all America when you look at basketball. What's it like just competing against the guys out there?
Yeah, it's a matchup every game, especially in this fast circuit league. You have guys everywhere, different teams, high-rated recruits. Texas is the deepest state in 2022 in the nation for sure. So I think, especially playing school ball, you're playing against high-level talent every game. So I think that helps everybody's development.
And you're looking at this just names of guys. I mean, like you said, pretty much every night you're going against someone that's highly regarded, a high major kind of prospect. How do you kind of learn to separate yourself when there's so much talent all over the place?
I think for me and a lot of other players that, you play in Texas in 2022. I think really being one of the best players in Texas in 2022 means you're really one of the best players in the nation. Because no other team, no other state has players as deep, talent as deep as Texas does.
Mm-hmm. And Texas is one of those states where, I mean, you guys are constantly developing. Obviously, you guys all put on a show leading up to your senior year, but because of how much talent there is, senior year is pretty much the big year. And we see now guys like Micah Peavy, he's moving on to college now. A lot of just big-time players. As you move your way up to the upperclassmen years and start having the spotlight more and more on you, what do you kind of look forward to having that?
It'll be fun because, I think I want to win state next year. That's a goal I have. And being an upperclassman, now it's when you have to take responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the main thing going from sophomore to junior year.
Let's talk about your big move you also made this past couple of months now. The transfer you now made, you're at St. Mark's, you got a state championship there, you did your thing, making a move now out to Greenhill. What went in this decision?
I love the coaches at Greenhill. I think they can really make me a better player at Greenhill and be able to play a national schedule as well. Me and Lee will be able to go there together. A good two-hand punch. I think we'll be one of the best teams in the state next year for sure.
And you're leaving behind guys like Colin Smith obviously out there, Harrison Ingram as well. What was it like just being able to play with those guys over the past couple of years?
It was a really good experience, because not only we're really close on the court, we're really close off the court too. So I still talk to all those guys, But, now it's about the best decision for me, And we'll play against them too on the way to the state championship. So I'm sure that game will be pretty interesting.
Would you say it's going to be probably your favorite game of the year?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. For sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And last year, you guys got to go up against a ton of top players and teams last season playing at St. Mark's. What was your favorite game of the year?
Favorite game of the year for me probably was probably the state championship game.
Mm-hmm.
That was a game we were all locked in that game. That was probably our best team game we played all year. So it was good to cap that off with the championship.
So now you had your upperclassmen years. You're a ranked player on pretty much every single site now. You have a state championship. You have a ton of offers right now. What else do you look to add to your resume over the next 2 years?
I would definitely want to be a PGM champion for sure next year.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get to play in the PGM this year because no ARBL, but I want to be a PGM champion next year. I also want to win 2 more state titles.
That's big time, man. And a lot of people have been talking about you. You're a guy that maybe not in the top 35 yet in terms of what other people's views are ranking-wise, but if you played at AU this year, a lot of people expected a breakout year for you, as well as just seeing what you bring to the team as a floor general. For those that might not know you yet, what would you say kind of identify your game as? What do you bring to a team?
I bring shooting ability, stretching out the NBA range. I think that's my biggest strength is shooting. I also like to get my teammates involved. I'm a high-energy player. I like playing fast.
And as you kind of develop, what's a guy in the NBA that you kind of look to as a guy you kind of model your game after and take pieces from that you could see yourself possibly turning into down the line?
Something I like to model my game after definitely is Trae Young. That's a player I like to model my game after a lot. We have a lot of similarities as far as the frame and goes and everything like that. So I like watching film on him. Also, kind of like I like watching film on like De'Aaron Fox, how he gets downhill. Also Bradley Beal, how he scores off the pick and roll, stuff like that.
And they kind of brought up a point. I mean, as a recruit, I know when their guys teams are trying to recruit a player, especially a high caliber guy like yourself, they do a lot of different things to try bringing you in. One of which is bringing a type of player in. If one of those teams brought a guy like Trae Young on a visit with you, or a guy like De'Aaron Fox, or any squad brings in a legendary player, what would that be like, and what kind of impact would that have on your recruiting?
That's a good question. I mean, I think like kind of like an Oklahoma kind of thing. Like I have a pretty good relationship with Trae and his family.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if I could see I want to talk to Trae as I go through this process, gotta get a feel on how things work. But I don't think that would have that much impact on my decision.
Absolutely. And I mean, when you're going through this business right now, you're doing a lot of calls, obviously, because that's all you can do right now. What are these calls like? Take us through what these hour-long, whatever length they are, your visits, your virtual visits, your calls. What are they like?
They're just telling me, they want me to be at their school. They can develop me into a great player. I can fit into that system, and they believe in my abilities.
And what would you say are some of the things that separate them? I mean, I know probably the basics is they always say they want you. Obviously, they want all that. What's some of the separating things that you've kind of heard that maybe is different than a different college?
Probably just the fit. Every school plays different. So
Mhm.
schools that for example, schools that play through their guards are always going to be more intriguing for me since I'm a guard myself.
Absolutely. And I mean, when you talk to these coaches, you also each player kind of has a personal approach to who they kind of want as a coach. Kind of gets described. What would a dream coach look like for you?
Dream coach for me would just be somebody that really believes in my abilities and somebody I can trust. Somebody that somebody that brings a locker room together.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. And a couple more things before I let you go. One is AU. We know every state's kind of up in there. Guys are playing one weekend and then shut down again. What's the AU year going to look like for you right now at this point?
Yeah, right now I know we're not going to play probably until mid to late August,
Mm-hmm.
at the soonest, the earliest I should say. But I'm looking forward to playing again. Kind of sad that we couldn't get the whole summer because of this coronavirus thing.
If you had an AU season this year, what were you going to try to go out there and prove?
I was going to try to prove that I'm not only one of the best guards in the state, but in the nationally from my class. A lot of people believe in my shooting ability, but I think I was going to be my chance to really show I can do everything else.
And you just said, obviously, you are one of the top players in your class, in your state, and all that. So what would your all-star roster look like for our 2022 guys in Texas?
Yeah, it would be for sure. It would be me, Lee, Rylan, um, Trey Clayton, a lot of guys on my Drive Nation team, as well as like Keontae, Jordan Walsh. A lot of the top players in Texas in 2022 do play with Drive Nation, 17 or 16.
Without a doubt, man. And another thing I know is pretty important in your life is your faith. I know you're a believer. Kind of talk about your faith with God. I mean, how does he help get you to the point you're at today?
I couldn't do anything without God. That's been what I've been saying since I was first grade.
Mm.
So for me, that's every step of the way. Never forget where I came from.
And playing basketball, we know obviously there's a lot of moments that takes time to rely on God. There's the ups and downs of basketball, just the way it is, and in life in general. What would you say are some of the moments that you've really seen God work in your career?
Really just my first scholarship offer,
Mm-hmm.
from TCU back in 8th grade. I'll never forget that because I thought that was really just a testament to my hard work and what God's done for me personally.
As you continue to move up now, man, you're going to get higher and higher profile, more and more attention on you as you move up the levels. How do you kind of plan to keep spread God's word through all the levels?
Just keep God first, in everything I do, not lose sight of who I am and what got me here.
Absolutely, man. My last thing before I let you go now is obviously you want to build a legacy for yourself with what you ever achieve on the court as well as off the court and in the community. By the time you walk away from the game someday, what do you want that legacy to be?
I want to be somebody that impacted my teammates in a positive way, impacted the locker room in a positive way, and somebody that helped the team hopefully win a national championship.
Without a doubt, man. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking time to come on again, my guy, and keep on doing your thing, bro. Of
Appreciate it.
course, man. You know you're always welcome on, man. God bless.
All right, God bless.